The easiest way to simulate adding veneer to an edge is to set a different color for desired face. The Magic Colors tool supports multiple face selection, so you can first select all the faces you want to veneer, and then add the veneer color. To select multiple faces simultaneously, hold down the left Ctrl key while selecting. Then, when creating a cut list using the Get Dimensions tool, simply add the reference color of the entire piece of furniture so the tool knows the veneer color. The resulting cut list will automatically calculate the required veneer length for each color as well as the total veneer value. If you have added veneer in a single color, these values will match. If you want to add veneer in different colors, the process is the same, but the cut list will list all colors that differ from the furniture's reference color. Additionally, the total veneer length for all colors combined will be displayed. However, caution should be exercised when adding a veneer that matches the reference color of the entire piece of furniture, or when adding elements such as the back of an HDF cabinet which has a factory-applied white veneer on the front and does not require veneering. In such cases, the brown veneer for the back will also be included in the cut list. The default size and other parameters of the applied veneer are taken from the settings in the Magic Settings tool. By default, the thickness of the applied veneer is set to 0 mm to avoid interfering with the modeling process. However, the object cannot be 0 mm thick, so the default settings set the veneer thickness to 0.01 mm. Personally, I often add black veneer to 18 mm white chipboard furniture. And for 6 mm plywood shelves with a removable interior, I add white veneer to the front edge. This makes the shelf look much cleaner and nicer when opened. In this case, however, using colors to simulate veneer can be problematic because the reference color of the entire furniture is white, and the veneer applied to the shelf is also white, which makes it difficult to accurately determine the veneer length. To add veneer of different colors, you can use the new addVeneer tool. The parameters of the veneer being created are taken from the Magic Settings tool. So first set the desired veneer color, then select all the edges to which you want to add veneer in that color and click the Add Veneer tool icon. To select multiple faces, hold down the left Ctrl key while selecting. Of course, you can also add veneer one at a time. Once you have added the entire veneer to the cut list, you will have a detailed description for each color. However, in practice, veneer made of PVC material can be as thick as 2 mm. In this case, in Magic Settings tool, set the veneer thickness to 2 mm and use the Add Veneer tool to add veneer to the selected face. A part box object will be created on the selected face simulating the added veneer. This approach allows for easy modification of the added veneer. You can modify the length and width and thickness and other parameters of the applied veneer, meaning you can more accurately calculate how much veneer is needed and what spacing should be maintained when calculating board sizes. In practice, adding veneer to an edge always requires slightly more veneer than the length of the given edge. Because the veneer is a separate object, you can increase its length, thus simulating the amount of veneer needed. If you have many edges to cover by the veneer, the total length of the veneer required may actually exceed the length of all edges, and purchasing a single roll of tape will result in a veneer shortage. The current veneer length and the reference length of the edge to be taped appear in the cut list. Adding veneer is supported by some structures marked with the veneer description in the Magic Start tool. To use this functionality, first set the veneer thickness to greater than 0 mm in the Magic Settings tool. Additionally, you must also choose whether you want to add veneer everywhere on every edge in the furniture or only in visible places. Selecting everywhere allows you to simulate the scenario of ordering panels already veneered. The visible option is a more personal choice, and for the given structures I have allocated space for veneer in these places, which is what I usually do. Once you have the settings in Magic Settings, you can proceed to creating the furniture. After selecting the appropriate structure, the Magic Start tool will automatically reserve space for veneer wherever veneer should be added. In the first case, I selected the visible option, so the entire furniture is spaced from the origin by the thickness of the veneer, and additionally some edges appear lower than others. As you can see, adding veneer achieves a complete fit. If you choose the everywhere option, space for veneer will also be reserved between the shelf and the cabinet sides. This isn't typically done, but if you order a 2 mm PVC veneer with all edges already covered, you should expect the shelf width to be 4 mm shorter. A secondary functionality that can be utilized is the ability to quickly create frames or other structures. We can quickly create a frame from thin sheet metal suitable for welding. The same can be done with a metal box. Or by increasing the thickness of the veneer, you can create more advanced wooden structures. However, this is a secondary functionality not dedicated to this type of construction. In FreeCAD, you can only apply textures to an entire object. There is no way to add texture only to a selected edge of a board. However, because the veneer added using the addVeneer tool is a separate object, you can simulate adding texture only to the edge of the board, achieving a realistic appearance.